Hello, everybody. I'm Todd. I'm Clayton Jr. I am the presidential candidate choice for the political party known as the Chivalry Party. I am here to answer your questions and to tell you where I stand on political issues and things that I believe should not be a matter of politics at all. I truly have no interest in politics, which is interesting, but we do need a change from what has caused this country's despair. Um, we should not blame just one party for the mess. It is because of the two parties, the Democrats and the Republicans, that their constant bickering about who is right and who is wrong. I believe both parties need to go and they have run this country to the ground for their own personal interest and say that it was for the better of the people. I am not going to make promises that I know I will not be able to keep, unlike the other candidates. I know the president does not work alone. He needs Congress's help, and Congress needs him also. What I will promise is that I will work with Congress, and together we will be fixing the major problems of this country, such as education, health care, reducing the tax code to make it simple for all citizens. And my personal beliefs in a supreme architect is just that. I know we are made up of many different beliefs, as I have stated in the First Amendment of the Constitution. These beliefs are part of what makes us unique. And that is part of the motto of the Chivalry Party, is unity through individuality. My personal beliefs have no bearing on how I would run this country. They're my personal beliefs. I would have to look at the greater good and go, is this good for everybody? No matter what their beliefs or what their views are. I think we need somebody who does not have tons of money or big business interests. I support businesses that support the community that they are in. I do not like businesses that never give back to the people that they take from. My economic ideas need the help of everyone. If we pull together and work together with this, we can get out of the problems that past government has created. No one person is to blame. Everyone had a hand in causing these problems. So I will now give some response on myself and we can go from there. I'm 43 years old. I have degrees in history and philosophy, and English, and family support services, and a few others. I love supporting the community I live in, supporting the food bank to help people that are in need. I am a supporter of the arts programs in the school systems. I believe that education should be the major issue of any politician. Until we have the best education in the world, that should be the first issue politicians should try to fix, or try to look at and get people to vote for them. I believe education should be a major issue, as I said before. Education is what makes this country stronger. The more the people know about things, the smarter people are, the more they graduate and get higher education, the better off this country is. The economic system should be connected to the education system. I love this country, and if it wasn't for me having asthma, I would have been defending this country. Our democratic republic is in a mess. I won't deny that. And no one that has been elected has been able to wave past their own ambitions. I am sure you are wondering what my position on some of the hot topics in the press nowadays are. This is the only time I will mention it because my position is mine alone. And if you follow it, if you believe in those issues, good for you. but your own uniqueness is what makes you who you are. And they have no reflection on the way I would be the leader of the free world. I believe in the Constitution of the United States, and that is the only thing that matters, is defending the Constitution. And not trying to change it, not trying to add things to it, unless it's to make people more free and equal. Not different, equal. If somebody has one right, another person should have that same right. Marriage equality seems to be a hotbed subject and has been for many years. And I don't understand why. We should be worrying about the financial structure of the economy, putting Americans back to work, instead of then having people telling someone else who they can and cannot marry. Yes, some people are going to bring up the religious beliefs, but you know what? We need to keep religion and politics out of each other. Religion should not be a religious icon. It states it in many holy books, but it should not, especially in the 21st century, it should not be a statute saying, oh, well, you can't marry because you're not this religion. Or you can't marry because it states it against this book. Okay, fine. If you want it that way, don't get married that way. But don't tell somebody else they can't be married because of your beliefs. Marriage is and should be a special thing between two consenting adults. I heard of all the arguments against it, and you know what? They are all the same exact arguments why cultures and different people should not marry. And you know what? That's nonsense. Our cultures are the only difference. We are one race. We are the human race. And once people realize that, closed-minded, self-centered people realize that we are one race, we are the human race, with many differences, then I believe we can do a lot more good towards the world and towards our own country. If you check out the Chivalry Party website, you'll see my views on abortion and other topics. I personally think we should find better answers than abortion, but because of my beliefs, I am not going to hold those beliefs against somebody else. I believe it should be legal. Because me saying I don't believe in it, then you can't do it, should not be a reason. If you don't believe in it, don't do it. But don't tell somebody else they can't do it because you don't believe in it. This country was founded on personal freedoms and individual ideas. And to keep that way, everybody should have the same rights and freedoms. My foreign policy is an important issue, but the thing is that we need to deal with our problems in our country first before we start helping other countries with the same exact problems, getting rid of their problems before we get rid of ours. I love Europe, I love Asia, the great countries, but we have to look within ourselves as a whole country here and fix what's wrong here before we can start fixing somebody else's problems. It's like taking a car. Your car is broken down, your neighbor's car is broken down. Same exact problems. You're not going to go fix your neighbor's car until your car is fixed. And I believe the legalization of marijuana, it should happen. We've had enough problems with a so-called drug war, the war on drugs. That really has not solved anything. It's caused more problems than anything. Once we decriminalize the drugs and make it a health care issue, I think we can start being a lot better place. Drugs is not a crime, should not be a crime. The police should not have any effect on if you're smoking or drinking unless it's affecting somebody else. If you're smoking or drinking and you're going out driving and you get into an accident, then the police should be involved. But other than that, it should be a health issue, not a criminal issue. We should never cut program budgets. If we need to balance a budget, then the first thing that we should cut is the politicians' pay raises. Because for people that don't know, politicians every so often throw in a pay raise in those bills that they pass in fine print. And then when the president signs them is when they get their pay raises. And they should not get pay raises unless this country is in good shape. You're not going to pay somebody for doing a lousy job if you're a company. So why should we pay the politicians for doing a lousy job? That which also brings me to another issue. I believe Congress should have term limits. We gave term limits to the president because one person should not have that much power for that long of a time. So, what makes these Congress people be able to stay in the Senate or the House of Representatives for 30, 40 years, retire, and get a nice long pension? You should have term limits, and it should be as the president's. You serve along with the president. If we want, we can do it. You serve 2 5-year terms. So Congress, the House, and the Senate are in there for 10 years. But I don't believe they should serve any more than that. They should not be in office for life. Sorry, I'm reading questions that were sent to me and trying to. Taxes. Here we go. I believe that there should be the tax code and the IRS should be reevaluated and reformed, and there should be everyone would have to pay a 7% flat rate yearly tax. That's 7%. Originally, my idea was 12% a year, which would be 1% a month out of your paycheck. So if you make $10,000, 1% would be $100? I think if you're making $10,000 a month, $100 you're not going to miss. But I reevaluated that, and I think 7% yearly tax rate would work perfect too. And if need be, we could always raise it by the vote of the people. There would be no deductions at all. Rich or poor will all pay 7% a year. This would be able to cover medical, education, and other services. Companies will pay a severe penalty for sending jobs overseas. Employees will pay 2% into their own unemployment insurance instead of the companies. So employees would pay unemployment insurance instead of the companies. Then if they get laid off or quit and want to find another job, they would still be financially able to survive until they found that job. Companies will get a home a bonus of some kind if they hire unemployed citizens, and companies will no longer step all over the citizens. Education is the highest priority that every citizen will be given. And I believe in raising the federal minimum wage. I haven't figured out what a good minimum wage to start off with is. But a minimum wage should be good at a good number, and it should raise with the cost of inflation. So if inflation's like $15, minimum wage should be that. Yes, the U.S. government is made up of civil service workers. They work for the people by the people. The president and Congress and any politician has to remember that they are working for the people. They are hired by the people. They can get fired by the people. If they're not doing their job, they should not be able to campaign. They should be let go. So if your politicians are not doing a good job, why re-vote for them? They're not doing you any good. All citizens of the U.S. are free and equal and should be treated as such. Nobody should be discriminated against. If you live in a poor neighborhood, you should be treated and given the same opportunities as a rich neighborhood in education, health care. Just because you're in that situation does not make you any less than the person in a rich area. You're the same person. You bleed red. You're a human being, and you're a citizen of the United States. The only difference is one person has more money because they spend it differently than the other person, or the rich person hoards it, which is why one reason trickle-down economics does not work. Rich people do not spend money the same way as poor people do. So poor people's money goes back into the economy. Rich people's money does not. But for this, I want to say thank you all for coming and listening to this. I know it's not as long as most people probably would have wanted, or as short as people wanted it. But if you have any questions, any more questions, you could always email the party, and I will get the emails at chivalryparty@gmail.com. And you could always check out our website at chivalryparty.weebly, WEEBLY.com. I think that's our website. Yes, Chivalry Party. Here, I'll actually hold that up for people to look at. And you could always call me too. I might not answer all the time because it would be busy, or I'll be doing other stuff. Now, thank you for coming. I will end this tonight by saying, if anyone has any more questions, and I don't see any more written down, so I want to say thank you. Please check out the website. If you want to support us, join the party. You can make donations. I don't believe our party website has a donation button yet, but we will probably. I'll talk to Webmaster about that. Other than that, thank you for listening. Like I said, if you have any more questions, please email me them, and I will try to answer them as with the full knowledge I have. Other than that, thank you and good night.